Hello, friends. Today I want to share a story that might quietly shift the way you see your own struggles. It's the story of a boy who felt crushed under the weight of his problems until he discovered a truth so simple, yet so powerful, that it changed the way he lived. So sit back, breathe slowly, and stay with me till the end, because this story might speak to your heart more than you expect. In a peaceful village, surrounded by green hills and whispering trees, lived a boy named Arav. Arav was bright, curious, and quick to learn, but he had one habit that made his life difficult. He worried a lot, and not just about big things. Even tiny inconveniences felt huge to him. If the sun was too hot, he would sigh dramatically. How does anyone survive this weather? If the teacher gave just a bit of homework, he would shake his head. This is too much. No one can finish this. If his mother asked for even a small favor, he would groan, "Why does everything have to be so hard for me?" Every day, Arav found a new problem, and with each passing week, his complaints grew louder, longer, and heavier. Soon, people in the village started distancing themselves, not because they disliked him, but because being around someone who only sees difficulties can drain your spirit. One evening, after listening to Arav grumble nonstop, his father decided enough was enough. "Arav, come with me," he said in a calm but firm voice. Arav followed him out of the house. They walked past the fields, through the narrow muddy lane, and finally reached a quiet pond at the edge of the village. The pond was still, almost mirror-like. His father picked up a pinch of salt from his pocket and handed it to him. He said, "Throw this into the pond." Arav did as he was told. "Now taste the water." Arav scooped a little and touched it to his tongue. Instantly, he spat it out. "Ugh, it's bitter!" His father didn't react. He simply nodded, took another handful of salt, and led Arav toward the large river that flowed nearby. "Now throw this into the river." Arav dropped the salt into the rushing water. The river carried it away instantly. He said, "Take a sip." Arav bent down, cupped water in his palms, and tasted it. To his surprise, it was cool and fresh. He said, "I don't taste any bitterness." Confused, his father placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and said, "Son, salt represents the problems in our life. The amount of salt never changes, but the bitterness you feel depends on the size of the container you put it in." He pointed at the river. If your heart stays small like the pond, every single problem will poison your peace. But if your heart grows wider like this river, the same problem will hardly affect you. Something inside Arav trembled. For the first time, he realized that maybe life wasn't ganging up against him. Maybe it was his own way of seeing things that made the world feel harder. That night, as Arav lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the pictures of the pond and the river floated in his mind. He whispered to himself, "If I stay like the pond, I'll keep suffering over every small thing. But if I become like the river, maybe I can handle anything." The next morning, Arav made a decision. Not to change everything at once, but to start with small steps. When his teacher gave extra homework, his first instinct was to complain, but he stopped himself and said, this is an opportunity to get better. When his mother asked him to carry 2 heavy water buckets, he smiled lightly. This will make me stronger. When the afternoon sun baked his skin, he forced himself to say, "This is just a test, and I can pass it." It wasn't easy. His old habits tugged at him like chains. But every time he felt himself slipping, his father's voice echoed in his memory. Slowly, Arav changed. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. And then something beautiful happened. Arav's heart grew. He no longer collapsed under pressure. He no longer magnified problems. He no longer drained others with complaints. People noticed. His friends liked spending time with him. His teacher admired his effort. His parents' faces shone with pride. And most importantly, Arav himself felt lighter, as if someone had removed stones from his chest. Problems still came. Exams, work, heat, chores, unexpected troubles. But they no longer drowned him. He became the river, and the salt could no longer hurt him. One evening, Arav sat by the river again, watching the water carry leaves, twigs, and tiny stones effortlessly towards the horizon. He smiled and whispered to himself, "Problems will always exist, but their power over me depends on how big I decide to grow." So, my friends, remember this. Life will not stop throwing challenges. Some days will be painful. Some nights will feel endless. Some moments will test your patience and your strength. But you don't need life to be easier. You need your heart to be bigger. Because problems don't shrink. We grow. And when we grow, every problem becomes small. So whenever you feel stuck, just ask yourself, am I being the pond or am I becoming the river?